All right, so here in this video, we're going to learn how to use the calculator to calculate outliers or determine whether something is an outlier. And fairly easy to do, but we're going to use the IQR method. There are other methods of calculating outliers, and we will look at those in probability. But for right now, we're just going to look at the IQR method. Please remember from the previous video that IQR is just Q3 minus Q1. All right. And we need to go ahead and enter our data. So I've already done that. So I'm going to speed through this really quickly. So I want to press stat, followed by the word edit. I should back it up real quickly. Stat, edit's highlighted. I can go ahead and press enter. And so I enter all of my data, 19, 17, 12, all the way down. I've got my data entered. I'm going to press stat, calc. One variable statistic should be highlighted, so I can press enter. Then I can press second one to make sure it says L1. Enter a couple times, and I get this information. So I happen to need Q3 and Q1. Scrolling down, there's Q1 at 15, and Q3 happens to be 19. So 19 minus 15 equals 4. So now I have my IQR. All right, so this is my IQR, and I need this in order to calculate an outlier. To be an outlier, we have to calculate our fences. All right, we have to calculate a lower fence or and an upper fence. So the formula for that is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Well, that's easy enough. We said Q1 was 15 minus 1.5, and this will always be 1.5. And this is my IQR value that we got right here. So this is Q1, and this is my IQR. 1.5 times 4 is 6. 15 minus 6 is 9. So if we have any values less than 9, it's an outlier. So when I look at this, no numbers less than 9, so no outliers. Notice I said less than. If it's equal to 9, not an outlier. It has to be less than 9. On the upper side, we had Q3 is 19. So we're going to have 19 plus 1.5, and our IQR happened to be 4. So 1.5 times 4 is 6. 19 plus 6 is 25. If we end up with an X value greater than 25, we have an outlier. Well, I have a value equal to 25, but not greater than. So in this case, no outliers. All right. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. And I have not entered my data in here just because I wanted to show you something very quickly or remind you of something. So second quit, the second in the mode button, oops, second quit, gets me to a clear screen. All right, I want a nice clear screen. I'm going to go press the stat button, edit's highlighted, I press enter. I have all that data in it there, and it's in my way. So I'm going to arrow up, press clear, followed by enter, and there we go. So 9, enter, 8, enter, 7, enter, 6, enter, 5, enter, 4, enter, 3, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter, and then -10, enter. And hopefully I didn't make a mistake. So once again, I'm going to press stat, arrow over the word calc, make sure it says L1. If it doesn't, I'll press second one, then enter. And scrolling down, I end up getting a minimum value of -10, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. I'm interested in Q1, and I'm also interested in Q3. So 7 minus 2 is 5, and that gives me my IQR. Okay, well, my lower fence is going to be 2 minus 1.5 times, and my IQR, we said, was 5. When I multiply that out, I get 5.5 or negative 5.5. So if X is less than negative 5.5, I have an outlier. So that means this value, which is less than negative 5.5, is an outlier. When I go to check the upper side, it's going to be 7 plus 1.5 times 5. And once again, it's always 1.5. When I do that, I end up getting 14.5. So I need X greater than 14.5. There is no X greater than 14.5. Our highest value is 9. I don't have a 14.6 or larger. So then there's no outliers on the upper side. So I have an outlier on the low side, but none on the upper side. All right, so whenever you start off, it really helps to have a clear screen. So go ahead and press clear. Got a clear screen. Stat edit. Now I've already entered the data, so I've already entered these values. I'm going to go stat, press calc, one variable statistics. Make sure L1, so second one. And press enter a couple times, and I've got all these data. I have 20 data points. Minimum value of 45. Q1 is 60. I need that value, which I've written right here. And Q3 happens to be 87.5. Well, remember, IQR is Q3 minus Q1, so 87.5 minus 60 equals 27.5. So in this case, my IQR is 27.5. So we're going to calculate that lower fence. So 60 minus the 1.5, and remember, we always use that value, is 18.75. We have no value below 18.75. So if X is less than 18.75, then we have an outlier. We don't, so no outliers on the low side. On the high side, we end up with Q3 of 87.5 plus 1.5 times the 27.5 is 128.75. So I would need an X larger than 128.75. I don't have it, so no outliers on the low side or on the high side for that one. All right, that concludes this video.